want your calls on this. Should we stop adopting dogs from overseas? The RSPCA is concerned about the thousands of dogs which come to the UK every year. The animal welfare charity says those dogs are brought over from countries including Romania, North Macedonia, but many can carry infectious diseases or have aggressive behaviours. It calls the process Deliveroo for dogs, as the animals are sold through websites or social media and are delivered direct to an owner's door. PETA says at any given time there are an estimated 100,000 dogs without homes here in the UK. So should we be focusing our efforts a bit close to home, James?
Well, I think we should actually be listening to what the RSPCA is suggesting. They're not saying that we shouldn't ever have dogs coming from overseas, but they're saying it needs to be licensed and we need to be much more careful about it. And also, if you are rehoming a dog, and it doesn't matter whether it's one indigenous or it's from overseas, it's much harder than you imagine. I've done it. It's hard. And you have to commit to it.
So you're rehoming a dog from the UK?
Yes.
OK. Right.
So
that process in itself is hard.
Yeah, so, OK, so it came from a family member who said, look, this dog's been accused of XYZ, can you look after her for us? You know, or do you know somebody who would like to have a lovely dog, but we can't have her because? And so that happened on a Friday. The Sunday night, over comes the dog, joins our other dog, and it took a good 3 months. And the internet will tell you exactly what to expect with rehoming a dog. That they, you know, we assume that dogs have the same kind of rational approach and they're going to see love and attention that we're giving them. There they are. So Bam is on the left. So she is the adopted dog, if you like. Stanley, who actually is technically her brother, same parents, different litters. He's a couple of years older.
OK, so
they now get on super well, but it took time.
So there are dogs in the UK that need rehoming. Is it a kind of a romantic vision that we have to go overseas to rescue them?
Sorry, can't. She's the prettiest dog beautiful.
in the world. Gemma, that we have to go overseas to rescue these dogs because we imagine, with justification, that the kind of life that they would have there would be nowhere close to what we can offer.
Yeah, listen, I think the British people are very kind and a nation of dog lovers, and if they see some poor dog somewhere in Romania and it's been beaten and stuff, you know, a lot of people are going to feel like, I can give that dog a home and I can do good. However, I think perhaps going into this, I didn't understand quite how many problems that can cause. I sort of was going off the fact that a friend did precisely that. It went very well. It was a pretty successful process. But as you say, if you've got organisations that are focused on animal welfare and this, that, and they're giving strong advice saying, actually, you need to be careful of X, Y and Z, fair enough.
Well, I mean, I've done enough about dogs and puppy farm to know that we're talking about organised crime in many cases. But also, there are people we know who have had much better experiences. Stay with us. We want to hear what you think. Should we stop adopting dogs from abroad? Maybe you've done it yourself. Maybe you've had a happy outcome. 0207 862 2222. I'm going to speak to Christy McDonald, who took in Lemmy from Romania. How are you doing, Christy? You all right?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm looking at the pictures behind you. Obviously, you're a massive Motorhead fan. That explains Lemmy.
My husband is a massive Motorhead fan.
Yes. Oh, OK. Yeah, it explains Lemmy, but it doesn't explain why Romania. How did that come about?
Gosh, we've been well, my children had been asking for a dog for a long time. I grew up with dogs, never rescued. They were always from breeders. And we did a lot of research. We did a lot of due diligence, I guess, in terms of the kind of dog that we would need. We have a particular situation in the family, so there was a lot of a list of there's Lemmy, a list of what we needed from a dog, and we knew it was going to be a rescue dog, and we looked at rescue in this country and we looked at rescue abroad, and we ended up rescuing her from Romania.
What were you worried about that Lemmy would experience in Romania that she wouldn't face over here?
Well, I mean, she was a Romanian street dog, so obviously very different circumstances to what we have over here. But in fairness, Lemmy, she was Berenice before, and then we changed to Lemmy. She was fostered in the UK for 6 months before we got her. So we had a good idea about what her temperament was, how she was with other dogs, with other cats, which is important to us, how she was with humans, obviously. You can never be 100% sure, and obviously taking her from that environment to our home environment was always going to be a big challenge for her. But we tried, what we wanted to do was to have as much information about Lemmy's background as we possibly could, so that we could be prepared for the challenges. And there are challenges, less challenges than there is enjoyment, certainly. But yeah, it was about having as much information as we possibly could, really.
And very briefly, when you see the headlines today about adopting from overseas, knowing that that's what has worked out so well for you, you know, obviously it's going to put people off, isn't it? What do you think of that?
I think it will, but I think the headlines are really unfortunate. I think there are probably more success stories than there are not. Looking at the article, seeing the documentary, a lot of the scenarios and the specific stories that they focused on were obviously really negative ones. They didn't really pick up on any of the many thousands of positive stories out there. And some of the stories that they picked up on, particularly it was a really tragic one. The pregnant dog that came over from Ukraine. Obviously, she'd been from a war-torn environment. She'd then gave a litter of puppies, 11 puppies, and then was removed from the home because of potential forged documentation. All of those sorts of things, which create an extreme amount of trauma for the poor dog. But that's not typical. That isn't a typical scenario of what happens when you adopt a dog from abroad. Quite the opposite.
Christy, it sounds like you really did your homework. You knew the organisation you were dealing with, and crucially, absolutely, you were prepared to wait as well, just to make sure things were as they were. And that sounds like a really good place to start. Listen, thank you so much for having a chat to us, Christy, and joining us on the programme. No, we're going to take some more calls. Amanda is in Kent. I don't know if you caught Christy's story there, but that was certainly not typical. It sounds like there is a good way to do it that brings a good outcome. What do you reckon, Amanda?
Yes,
Oh, Amanda, your line's not good enough, I'm afraid. I don't know if you're calling from Romania, but we can't hear you. Jane's in Nottinghamshire. What do you reckon, Jane? Do you think that it is possible to have a good outcome by adopting a dog from overseas?
Well, it's always possible to have a good outcome when adopting a dog, but there are hundreds of dogs in the UK that need adopting. And personally, I recently adopted a 9-year-old golden Labrador from Jerry Green's rescue, and he's been a godsend to me. I'm a pensioner, so he's a pensioner as well. And there are just so many dogs in this country that need homes, that have been badly treated in the past, and give you the love if you give them love.
Why do you think, Jane, why do you think people are attracted by adopting a dog from overseas? What's the attraction there?
I really don't know, because when you look on the websites in the UK, there's plenty of pictures of lovely dogs with sad eyes that want a bit of love as well, you know, so I don't see the attraction personally. And, you know, it is hard work. And the thing about UK dogs is they're all vet checked, they're chipped when you get them home. Obviously, there's still training issues and that, because a 9-year-old dog's been used to the way that he's been used to. He's a little reactive to humans. He barks at them, but he doesn't, once he knows them, he forgets about the barking. But, you know, he's doing really well, and I love him to bits.
Oh, I'm so pleased. What's his name, Jane?
His name is Vinny.
Oh, Vinny, super stuff. Thanks for your call. Susan's in Angus. Susan, what do you reckon? Do you think we should stop importing dogs, adopting dogs from overseas, and just concentrate on dogs like Vinny in this country?
Yeah, no, that was lovely, the lady, that last caller. And it would be lovely if we could just adopt from our own country. But sadly, there's so many hurdles you've got to cross to get a dog. It's like adopting a child. And I think perhaps that is why a lot of people turn to abroad. And not like the caller before that lady there. She did all her research and her homework. A lot of people, they just get one from abroad and they don't know, and it's an unknown quantity what they get.
Aren't those hurdles there for a very good reason, Susan? To ask the right questions?
They are. However, I mean, there's Tom Utley who writes a column in the Daily Mail. A few years ago, he described how difficult it was for him to get one from Battersea Dogs Home. It was a good column, and when he'd highlighted it in the newspaper, he suddenly got one. It's so difficult. It's like being interviewed by the Gestapo. I mean, I've never had experience of that because I got mine from being puppies, from breeders. But I do know someone who did get one from, I think it was Romania.
Yeah.
She got this dog. She chose it from online, but the dog that arrived at her door late at night wasn't the dog that she'd actually chosen.
And that's the point, isn't it? It might be easy, but they have to ask difficult questions of you. Otherwise, it is too easy.
It's about regulation, and that's what they're calling for. They're not saying we shouldn't have dogs from overseas, but it's the processes. Why is it hard in this country? Because actually it's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
And for the dog, wherever they come from, you are going to have to do certain things. And so by shortcutting, that's the problem, and that's why we have these nefarious practices. Many people do it properly, but some do not.
Whatever the circumstances, if you take a dog on, any pet, you have to take it very seriously. Thank you, Susan. Thanks for all your calls, in fact. It's time to hear